Chapter 18 of the Life of Saint Teresa. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Anne Boulay. The Life of Saint Teresa by Teresa of Jesus. Translated by the Reverend John Dalton. Chapter 18. The Saint speaks of the fourth degree of prayer. May our Lord teach me some words, whereby I may be able to say something on the fourth method of drawing water. I have great need of His assistance, even more than I had when speaking of the last degree. For there the soul finds that she is not entirely dead to the world, and we may say so with truth, because she is still in the world. But as I have said, she has sufficient understanding to know she is in it, and to feel her solitude. And she makes use of exterior signs to make what she feels understood. In all the preceding kinds of prayer which I have described, the gardener labors a little, though yet in this latter kind of prayer, his labor is accompanied with so much joy and consolation to the soul, that he would be glad were it never to end, and thus he finds no trouble at all, but rather a subject of glory. In this fourth degree there is no suffering, but only enjoying, though yet without understanding what is enjoyed. He knows, however, that a certain good is possessed, in which all blessings are comprised. But this good is not comprehended by him. All the senses are occupied with this joy in such a manner that they cannot apply themselves to anything else, either interiorly or exteriorly. Before, as I have mentioned, a certain liberty was given to them, in order that they might show some signs of the great joy they felt. But here the soul enjoys much more, beyond comparison, and can make herself understood much less, because both the body and the soul are incapable of communicating that joy. Everything would then be an embarrassment, torment, and an obstacle to the repose of the soul. I say that if there should be a union of all the powers, she cannot, even if she wished, communicate the joy she feels. And if she could, there would not be a union. How what is called union happens, and what it is, I am not able to explain. It is explained in mystical theology, of the terms of which I am ignorant. Neither do I know what is meant by the mind, nor the difference between mind and soul, nor what is a spirit. All these seem to be one and the same thing to me. Though sometimes the soul herself springs out, like a fire which is burning, and has burned into a flame, and sometimes this fire increases with a certain impetuosity, and the flame rises much higher than the fire. But notwithstanding this, it is not anything different from the fire, but it is the flame itself which is in the fire. Your reverence will understand this subject by your learning. I know not how to explain it better. I wish to mention what the soul feels when she is in this divine union. Everyone knows what is meant by a union, viz., when two things, which before were separated, become one. O my Lord, how good art Thou! Blessed be Thou forever. May all creatures praise Thee, O my God, who hast loved us in such a manner that we are able to speak with truth respecting this communication, which Thou holdest with souls, even in this land of exile, and however good they may be, still your liberality and magnificence are great in treating with them. In fine, O my Lord, it is Thine own greatness which gives these favors, considering who Thou art. O infinite bounty, how magnificent are Thy works! Do they not amaze those who have not their understanding so occupied with the things of this world, as to allow them time to hear and understand the truth? Why shouldest Thou bestow such supernatural favors on souls who have so often offended Thee? This consideration does certainly surpass my understanding, and the more I consider it, the more I am unable to pass on further. Where can one go without being obliged to return back, since I know not how to return you thanks for such immense favors? I help myself sometimes by speaking foolish things, and it often happens, both after I have received these favors and when our Lord is beginning to bestow them. I have already mentioned how at the very time I am enjoying them, I have no power to do anything. That I thus address Him: O Lord, consider what Thou art doing. Do not forget so quickly my very grievous sins, and though Thou hast forgotten them so far as to pardon them, Yet remember them, I beseech thee, so as to put some limit to thy favors. Do not place so precious a liquor in so broken a vessel, O my Creator, since thou hast already seen how often I have spilt it. Commit not such a precious treasure to one, in whom a desire for the consolations of this life has not yet been totally extinguished, as it ought to be. If thou shouldest commit it, it will be utterly lost. How canst thou commit the strength of this city, and the keys of the fortress, to a cowardly commander, who, on the first attack of the enemy, is sure to let them enter? O my eternal King, let not thy love of me be so great, as that it should make thee expose such precious jewels as these to danger. It seems to me, O my Lord, that thou mayest give the world occasion hereby to undervalue these great favors of thine, since thou dost place them in the hands of a creature so base, so weak, so miserable, and of such little worth as I am. And though now I begin to labor, that I may not lose them through thy assistance, and I have need of no little, considering who I am, yet I shall not be able, by means thereof, to gain any one else to thee. In a word, I am a woman, and not a good one, but very wicked. It seems that these thy talents are thus not only hidden, but even quite buried, by being put in so ungrateful a soil. Thou art not accustomed, O Lord, to impart such favors and dignities to a soul, but only with a view that she may profit many others. Thou knowest, O Lord, that sometimes I have begged this favor and still beg it of thee, with my whole heart and affection, and I consider it fit to be content to lose the highest blessing which can be enjoyed upon earth, in order that thou mayest be pleased to grant it to some other, who will profit more by it to thine own greater glory. These and other such matters I have often thought of mentioning, but I afterwards saw my ignorance, and the little humility I possessed. For our Lord knows well what is proper for everyone, and that my soul would not have had sufficient strength to save herself, unless His Majesty had bestowed on her so many favors. I also wish to declare the graces and effects which remain in the soul by this prayer, and what she can do of herself, or if she can in any way be instrumental in bringing herself to so high a state. This elevation of the spirit or union comes with a celestial love. In my opinion, this union is different from elevation, though yet the soul is elevated in this same union. Whoever has not experienced this last will be of a different opinion. But yet, even though they should both be the same, our Lord works differently therein, and by the increase which the soul receives of disengaging herself from all creatures, she seems much greater by that elevation. I have seen clearly that this is a particular favor, although, as I have said, they may both be the same, or at least may seem so. But a small fire is as truly a fire as a great one, and yet we see there is a difference between one and the other. In a small fire it takes a long time before a small piece of iron can be made hot, but if the fire be great, the iron, though it may also be great, will soon lose the appearance of iron. Just so does it seem to me in these two kinds of favors from our Lord. I know that whoever shall have arrived at these raptures will understand me well, but he who has had no experience therein will consider what I say to be foolish, and it may be so. For how shall a creature as I am presume to speak on such a subject, and to make that understood which it seems impossible to think of declaring even by words? It is not strange, then, if I speak foolish things. But I believe this of our Lord, for His Majesty knows that, next to obedience, my intention is no other than to make souls desirous of obtaining so high a blessing, that He will assist me herein. I shall say nothing of which I have not had much experience. It is quite true that when I began to write on this last degree, I thought it would be more impossible for me to treat about it, than to speak Greek, so very difficult did I find it. Upon this I gave up writing and went to communion. O virtue of obedience, which art able to do all things! May our Lord be praised, who thus favors the ignorant. O virtue of obedience, which art able to do all things! God enlightened my understanding, sometimes furnishing me with the words I was able to use, and at other times by representing to me the manner in which I should express myself. what His Majesty was pleased to do in the